Ain't getting started. Theme song. You might even hear a gang of angels cheer just before. All right. Yeah, those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or evil thinking. We do so because changing the pressure in those minds are deep and difficult to move. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station. I'm your host, Third Eye Optometrist, Patrice Gibbs, of course, joined by my brother in consciousness, Nsoromma, our intellectual surgeon. Yes, dude, we ready to get them started. Oh, it's so much going on, brother.
Good morning, world.
That's right. And look, let me tell you, right after the Open Eye, stay tuned for Timeless Thomas putting it down. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we got a good schedule for you. Timeless Thomas will be followed by Make Some Intelligent Noise with Rochelle Wilson. Later today at 5, the Weekend Review with my man Alan Lawrence, the Doctor of Information. He got it going on. And of course, our illustrious leader today at 6, Harmon Carey with Black History Facts and Reflections. All right, I'll let you know what's going on and the reason to stay on WHGE 95.3 FM. And of course, I know you ain't going nowhere right now. I know that because your third eye optometrist is here. Hey, look, you know, sometimes you got to get rid of some people. That's just the way it goes. You know, I like the way Tupac put it. And he told you, just because you lost me as a friend doesn't mean you gained me as an enemy.
Right.
I'm bigger than that. I want to see you eat, just not at my goddamn table. Understand that? You know, because you got some people, you know, hey, sometimes, you know, people come into your life, and I said this before, and I'm sure you heard it, but we learn by repetition. You know, people are like seasons. Right. Seasons change. And when the seasons change, you know, the branches on your leaves turn. Don't be afraid to cut them branches off. Don't be afraid to do that. You can make it without some people. Believe that.
Only real thing you need is the faith and belief that you can do it, and it's on.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. That's about the size of it. Condolences to the family of Hammer and Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron died yesterday. He was 86 years old. Right. Maybe some of our young listeners don't know who Hammer and Hank Aaron was, but Hank Aaron for years was the home run king of professional baseball. Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record. Oh, shoot, I was a teenager when that happened, I think. Can't remember the exact year, but it was in the 70s that Hank did that. And for decades, Babe Ruth's record stood at 715 home runs. Hank Aaron broke that record. And it was something as a black man breaking Babe Ruth's record. You can't believe, well, I guess you could. I mean, after all, this is America.
Right.
But he got death threats for that.
Of course, you get death threats for going into McDonald's when you ain't supposed to be in there if you're in the wrong area.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah, you know.
It's America.
Yes, indeed. You know, and speaking of this being America,
Right.
of course, you know, the orange disaster.
He's out of there.
He's out of there.
Okay, about time.
Yeah.
I told you he was going to put a fight up to the fight.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
I'm glad he
Yeah, he sent his minions in on January 6th to invade the Capitol and overthrow the government. It didn't work out for him. And then he threw them suckers under the bus. You know, shame on you doing that. That's just awful.
And now he's been throwing people under the bus all his life and all his career and his whole process.
Yeah.
He's just under the bus man.
You know, that's what, and it reminds me when he was first elected.
Right.
Some people put this out. You know, because when he was first elected, everybody could see like, oh Lord, this is a disaster. Which is how, you know, it came to this orange skinned sucker being called the orange disaster. And like I said, some of these people put this out. We apologize for Donald Trump. He was an embarrassment to this country, and then he was working hard to see that he doesn't get reelected. Fine, sane Americans. Cut the crap. When did Americans become sane? Trump is not an embarrassment. Trump is a revelation. The same country where 59 million stupid-ass Americans reelected George W. Bush, who up until Trump was the worst president. All right? Well, after Trump, George W. said, hey, I ain't got that title no more.
Word. I mean, now this is the perfect time to work on the solution process. You know what I'm saying? On all the things that's messed up in our democracy, we can address now and open in the open. You know what I'm saying? And it's better to really address this situation right now because we really cannot stand another civil war. You know, or a religious war or a racist war. We cannot stand not another war.
No, we cannot. No, we cannot. You know, and I said, it's
like imperative that, you know, we come up with solutions now instead of keep going down this same old road of destruction. You know?
Yeah. You know, but like I said, this is America.
This is America.
And just the same racist ass country. What's the difference, huh? That was a fraudulent slip.
Yeah, no, but that's definitely true.
Yeah.
You understand? It's really a corporation first and a country second.
How about that? And this is the same racist ass country that elected Ronald Reagan twice. One of the worst racist, probably the most racist president to sit in the White House up into his time since Woodrow Wilson in the early 1900s. Of course, then along came Trump. And Trump is not an embarrassment. Trump is as American as apple pie, the Star Spangled Banner, lynchings, the KKK, murderous police, big pharma drug dealers, big oil pollution, mass incarceration, robbing baron bankers, as we call them banksters today, land grabbing corporations, assassinations of black leaders, racism, and greed. All of that is very much American. Believe that.
It hasn't been no good to come out of America for some blacks. I mean, it hasn't been super all bad, but for the majority of it, yes. But I mean, where is the hope and the faith that we can inject into people besides what we be talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's like we wanna even out the balance of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. But it's going to take a lot of waking up.
I mean, what about the white people that's not a KKK and not
involved in white supremacy?
That's really genuine about their cause and the worldly cause of humanity. This is humanity thing, man.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you like Dr. King said.
What did he say?
Dr. King said, you know, we got a lot of good meaning people in this, that, and the other. Okay. But
it was a big but.
It was a big but in there.
Okay,
Okay.
I hear them black.
Yeah. Yep.
With the black.
You know, if you're quiet in the face of injustice, even when you don't agree with it, then you are just as responsible for the injustice that takes place.
So yeah,
as any white supremacist.
I say instead of them Karens that's trying to set our people up, it should be Karens also that's trying to help our people.
Right.
And I don't see them.
No,
so
you
I
don't.
do understand what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
if they are out there, they should be taking a stand, not for us, but for them.
For righteousness.
Right, for righteousness, for them to say that I'm not like that.
Right.
And once you start standing up and it be really truthful and soulful, and we as people feel that.
Right.
So you can't fake that.
No, you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
so it's a lot of people out here that say they do whatever they do and they not about this, but then we can feel it. And it's not the genuine, and that's how it still is right now.
Yes, indeed.
So they got to put the fakeness away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, and there's something when you said, where the opposite of the Karens at.
Right.
Who don't believe in this injustice and
right.
and they are out there.
But we don't see them. We don't see violent
That's right.
messages. We don't see videos of the fight back. We only seeing the attack. You know what I'm saying?
Now you would think that those white women involved in women's lib,
right?
Okay, they always talk about the glass ceiling and how that ceiling can be broken. Now Kamala Harris is a woman. No matter how I feel about her,
right?
All right, she is a woman.
She's a woman. You feel some way about it too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But she has done some stuff to our people that they don't put in. I mean, when you behind the scenes and you getting it done to you, and then they pop out acting like they queen,
yeah, and you said this, that, and the other.
But behind the scenes, they was raping and doing all this other stuff.
Slimy as hell.
Right. So,
I mean, and I don't want to go too deep on it right now, but I do want to say, right? Where are the women livers celebrating Kamala Harris becoming the first female vice president of the United States? Why aren't white women out here saying right on for their fellow sister breaking that glass ceiling?
Because that ain't their fellow sister.
That's it, exactly,
that's
sisters.
That's long as this goes on, it go on.
It will go on.
Saying?
Right?
I mean, how long has it been?
Oh, it's been 400 years.
I mean, it's actually been a little longer than that. That's just documented. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, 400
years on this land. Wow. Put it like that. Like I said, where y'all at? See, this is why, like Dr. Clark said, that women's lib thing, black women, that's not your fight. That's that white woman's fight with her man. That's not your fight. That's word. And not only that, but looking at the history of the white woman's movement for liberation, you go back to before white women had the right to vote, right after, or let's say just after the Civil War. When black men, because only men could vote, were given the right to vote.
Right.
Legislation was signed in, giving black men the right to vote. White women involved in the liberation movement were very angry that black men had the right to vote. They didn't give a damn about people of color having any rights.
Right. I mean, when you spawn from that Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, I mean, you don't want to see no other nationality doing better than you or better than you. So, I mean, that's crazy that it's still going on 500 years later.
You know
what I'm saying? And it's still a big topic of our society. That blows my mind.
I heard that.
I mean, and they know who to attack and who to pick on. When you feeling like, for instance, the Panthers, it was like 10 of them, the most. How can 10 people be the most radicalist group in the world? That's just not possible. You know what I'm saying? But they're labeled like that.
Oh, yeah.
But here you have the Ku Klux Klan organization that got millions, and they're not even labeled as a terroristic threat to our society.
White identity extremists.
Yeah, so first of all, I have to start with the injustice in the system. You know?
And sisters, do not get it mixed and put your gender before your race. Don't do that. Because from the beginning of the women, especially in what was late 60s, early 70s, when the women's liberation movement women's lib and what have you, they invited sisters in, but only to pump up their numbers. They didn't give a damn about your rights. Because let me tell you something. They put their whiteness before their gender. You can believe that. Case in point, the fact that the Orange Disaster even got in office, tells you everything.
Yeah.
Because he was running against a woman, a qualified woman, Hillary Clinton. No matter how you feel about her, she was definitely more qualified than the Orange Disaster.
Oh, most definitely. She can do timetables.
Oh, yeah. But white women chose their race over their gender, and they voted for the Orange Disaster over a qualified woman. That don't tell you plenty right there. I'm telling you. Pay attention.
Right. That's what you got to do is open your eyes.
That's where, WHGE 95.3 FM. This is the Open Eye, brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, founders and builders of the Pearl Center. DCHV, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware.
Views and opinions expressed in the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors.
Yo, what's good? Thank y'all for tuning in. Sherry, good morning. What's happening?
Hey, Sherry. My favorite Facebook cuz.
Yo, Mary, what's good? Yo, Mike, what's happening? Daddy, I ain't seen you in a minute. Everything good?
I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
This is the Open Eye.
WHGE.
Yes, indeed. All right. Robert Wright is a writer that I like to quote. He put some good stuff out there.
Robert Wright?
Yeah, Robert Wright. Yeah, that's indeed. That's something right here.
Yeah, let me see this. Okay, yeah, I got
it. Yeah, he be kicking it. He said the 50 Senate Democrats represent over 41.5 million more Americans than the 50 Senate Republicans. But the filibuster gives the GOP power to kill legislation supported by the vast majority. It's undemocratic. It's not in the Constitution. It can be eliminated with just 51 votes. End it now. Take that power away from these racist fools in the Republican Party. Not only, here's the thing. It's one thing, and this is what a lot of their white supporters don't realize about the Republicans. Not only are they racist, but they're elitists. And what I mean is, they don't give a damn about poor white people or working class white people. And they fooled you into voting against your own interests. How many damn times do I have to tell you that? And you continue to do it. What is it? The Orange Disaster got 74 million votes. That's really high. That was a big turnout. But for Biden, of course, and they'll talk about that. Well, 74 million Americans were in favor of President Trump, and we wanted to say, it was 81 million in favor of Joe Biden.
So just because he had that many doesn't mean that he didn't have more. You know what I'm saying? So that was his whole campaign. His whole campaign was a manipulative campaign.
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you see any good that he did while he was in office? I mean, is there anything that doesn't make him this villain?
Look, if we were to sit here and think about it, it'd be crickets on the air for about 20 minutes. That's the damn show. I swear.
No,
Look.
he did a couple things.
He did?
Yeah.
What did he do?
What's that?
He did the right. Hold on, wait a minute. It was that.
And he also did. No, he did an act for real. He did something.
He did something.
He a program for people out of jail to get them something. He did something.
He did something.
He did something.
Yeah. And somebody know, look that up and tell us. We having a little trouble with that.
He was with prisoners getting out and can't get a job or something. And he got a program set up for him. It was something.
It was something, huh?
He did something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that was his whole term.
His whole 4 years. He did something. We can't exactly remember what the hell it was, but he did something.
Oh my God.
Word.
Good job, man. I'm glad you going.
I'm telling you. Now, for considering what happened on January 6th, when white identity extremists and terrorists stormed the Capitol, here's some helpful definitions,
right,
so that you understand. Because see, on the mainstream news, they keep calling them protesters and rioters.
Right, and that's what be killing me, because they have different names for when we be really protesting as black people,
right,
wrong causes, and we're terrorists and thugs and criminals and all these other vicious names that they can think of to label us as. And then you have these people that are really terrorists and really monsters and really killers.
Right.
It was people that died there,
right,
and everyone that broke in should be arrested and brought up on conspiracy charges to murder.
Right.
But
yes, and prosecuted to the
fullest extent.
To the fullest extent of the law.
But we're not hearing that, and we're not getting that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just another injustice. Biden's in office now. When does the change hit? That's my question.
I heard
all
that.
These votes, when you got all these people together, now when does it change?
That's it. Let's bring it. Now, like I said, and like we were saying,
right,
the difference between the white identity extremists and terrorists who attacked the Capitol on the 6th is, what were they? What was their attack about? It was about being dissatisfied that they are losing white privilege, and that the black vote counted, which is why Biden is in office. When black people protest, we are protesting police murders on our people. We are protesting for the right to survive. Big damn difference.
Right. If you got one police that died and the whole world hear it. You hear one little kid get shot with a plate gun by the police. No one hears it.
Or they blame
the kid for playing with a gun.
Right. They blame the victim.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
I mean, when it's time to really fight back, and I mean, everyone should be prepared to do that, because this is about to happen, and you have to be prepared, man.
That's word. Well, here's these helpful definitions. Treason. Treason is the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. Sedition. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarchy. Okay, treason. Let's say that again. The crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government.
What just happened?
That's what they did.
Happened. Of course.
That was treason.
Right. Everybody that went into that building, and these were doctors, lawyers, fire officers, National Guards, military help. They had inside help. That's what I'm saying. That's how deep it went. The president almost made a real live coup in 2021.
Right. Sedition.
Sedition.
The conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state.
Right.
That's what the orange disaster is guilty of.
Right.
All right. Now,
If that was Obama, what you think would have happened? Let's just pause it right there for a minute and go into what would have happened if Obama did that in his term anywhere.
Right.
And his supporters did that after the fact.
And stormed the Capitol.
Right.
They would have lynched Barack Obama on the White House lawn.
Right. They would have killed Barack to stop that.
That's what they would have did. They would have lynched him on the White House lawn.
That's messy, man. I mean,
you know, now David Hogg, you may not have heard of him, but David Hogg was a student during one of those school shootings.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the shooter at my high school was a white nationalist Trump supporter. The suicide bomber in Nashville was a white nationalist Trump supporter. Those who attempted a violent coup of the U.S. government were white nationalist Trump supporters. And the press said, you know, some of these people are mental ill. No, it's not mental health. It's treason and terrorism. Make no mistake about that. Because what they tried to do was pull a coup. What is a coup? A coup is a sudden, violent, and illegal seizure of power from the government. Illegal. And it was brought on by sedition, which was perpetrated by the president at the time who didn't want to leave office. The Orange Disaster. You're going to jail. You need to swing.
But I'm saying this is just another taste of American reality. He's not going to jail. I'm just
not
saying,
for this.
I called a little couple things. I can foresee the future.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Our psychic and intellectual surgeon.
Tell you the boy not going to jail.
See, now don't let Nsoromma fool y'all and kill and got y'all thinking that he's actually psychic. I'm gonna tell you the real deal. The real deal is being an astute social observer, which is what we try to be here.
True that.
You know, and seeing the patterns of things allows you to be able to make some predictions based on your educated guess.
Right.
You know, So, you know, don't let Nsoromma fool y'all on that. He's not psychic. He's studied.
It's all strategically done.
You know, big us, brother, for being studied. That's word. Terrorism. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in pursuit of political aims. That's what these white identity extremists do. They're terrorists.
Right.
Treasonous terrorists at that. Fascism. A system of government led by a dictator who typically rules by forcefully and often violently suppressing opposition and criticism, controlling all industry and commerce, and promoting nationalism and often racism.
And now, the key word there is a dictatorship, and that's what he was mainly after. He was thinking there shouldn't be another president after me. I should be the president forever. Come on, yo, this guy is serious, man. I'm glad he is going. Now, what would his next adventure be? I don't know, and I don't care.
You know, his next adventure should be don't put the rope on too tight, y'all. That should be his next adventure.
I want the cuffs in the back.
You know, put the cuffs in the back.
Oh man.
And you know, like you said earlier, think about it.
What?
Those terrorists who stormed Congress are police officers and military people. They are our children's teachers. They are our doctors, pediatricians, and dentists. They are our pharmacists. They are our waiters and restaurant cooks. They are government employees. They are the plumbers, electricians, carpenters we hire. They come from every walk of life. If the rhetoric tones down because Trump has left office, their intention and heart remains the same. And that's a quote from one of my Facebook friends, Tracy
Just 'cause
Johnson,
we
one of
won,
my
don't think
faves.
they don't still feel the same.
That's right.
I mean, don't
Their
think
feeling ain't changed.
that oh y'all won. They was really upset that we won, so they wanted to kill us.
Yeah.
Just that simple. Now you gotta think about that.
Mhm.
When it really boils down to, the thought of, okay, now we had this guy in office that some of us say needed to be out.
Mhm.
Now, if it could have been all kind of nationalities out there trying to do that at that particular point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To get
Right.
him out,
Mhm.
and they all would have been shot up.
Mhm.
Black, white, all at that particular time they would have shot whoever.
Mhm.
But being as though they knew that it was mainly a Republican white race of people that was storming them,
Mhm.
he told them to hold the troops off. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, yo, don't let the National Guards out. I mean, he was doing a lot of things that was letting them get to the point that they got to
Mhm.
through his decision making as a president when he's supposed to,
Be protected. Right.
protect us. And he
Mhm.
wasn't doing that. He was
No.
letting them do that.
Yeah. Well, not only was he letting them do it, but he called for them to do it.
Right.
He once sent them down there to do it and then threw them under the bus. Boy, that sucker ain't nothing. I'll tell you now, what is a cult? With research, you can find that there are common attributes that psychologists and sociologists agree upon that characterize a cult. For example, a charismatic leader who increasingly becomes an object of worship as the general principles that may have originally sustained the group lose power. That is a living leader who has no meaningful accountability and becomes the single most defining element of the group and its source of power and authority. A process of brainwashing. The inculmination of this process can be seen by members of the group often doing things that are not in their own best interest, but consistently in the best interest of the group and its leader. Economic, sexual, and other exploitation of group members by the leader. No tolerance for questions or critical inquiry. No meaningful financial disclosure regarding budget or expenses, such as an independently audited financial statement. Remember, the orange disaster would not give up his taxes. Unreasonable fear about the outside world, such as impending catastrophe, evil conspiracies, and persecutions. Now, that's one thing that the cult of Orange believes in, is these evil conspiracies. They had this Pizzagate thing, and one of the Trump white nationalists went and shot up a pizza shop because he had been convinced by QAnon that Pizzagate, they were kidnapping little white children and eating them and having sex with them and this, that, and the other in pizza shops. And he went and shot up the damn pizza shop.
They ain't gonna shoot up the Catholic Church.
Yeah, ain't that a blip? How about that?
I
know you hard on them, but I ain't mad at you about that.
I'm sorry.
No, ain't no apology needed for that. Ain't no apology needed for that because, yo.
I'm sorry, Miss Hughes.
Damn.
Hey, lady.
There are records, books, news articles, or broadcast reports that document the abuses of the group leader. The group leader is always right. The group or the leader is the exclusive means of knowing the truth or receiving validation. And no other processes of discovery is seen as acceptable or credible. Okay? Which is one of the reasons that both Hitler and the Orange Disaster refer to the mainstream press as having no credibility. That it was fake news. Trump and his following are the embodiment of a cult. That's what they are. They are a cult because what they are is they're a cult of personality. And if things had, like you said earlier, if things had went the Orange Disaster's way, he would have been the last president. That was his plan.
Right.
That was his plan. And this is what, and you know, and there's something, I watched some of the reactions to Biden's inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a couple of these Orange cult members
Right.
just distraught. I mean, I seen this woman crying real tears. And, oh my God, President Trump, please come back and save us. We're going to lose our country and it's all going to go to hell. And the whole country's going to hell. And, excuse me, lady, you got the most devilish ass fool that you following who is going to hell with gasoline drawers on. And the devil is probably going to sodomize him.
I mean,
And you talking about some more morals?
You gotta know, what does people want the most, man? People want that security and that knowledge, knowing that I got your back and I'll save you and I'll fight for you. And that's what Trump was giving them, the illusion. He was giving them this illusion.
And that's what it was too, a damn illusion.
When they run into the Capitol, he throw them under the bus.
Bigger than big.
Exactly, because I only need you to do what I need to do, and then you're fired.
You know?
Put another show. Did they have a show like that?
Oh yeah, The Apprentice.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
So the main person and people that should be held accountable is who? That is my question to you, as like, who we gonna point the finger at? You know, who's really getting the finger pointed at? And there's really no specific one that's being blamed. And they trying to downplay the most vicious thing that ever happened in our country since the 1800s.
Since the Civil War.
Right. So, I mean, yo.
I'm telling you. But look, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Yeah, let's make some money.
Get that couple out. Let's get that couple out. Good job, son. Sarah, you hear him? See how we going in? I'm on down. Yo, Zach, what's up? Yaga. Yo, Jerry Cobb, what's good? Be safe. Hey, yo, you know who you are. Yaga. Yeah. Baker. What's up, Baker?
Delaware Center for Women's Vet was founded by veterans.
Glad you tuned in, you know what I'm saying?
Big time.
Andre, what's good, homie? Everything good? You know what's happening. Good.
Delaware Center for Women's Vet is proud to
Yeah, you know what we doing. Open our radio show, keeping it hot.
in sponsoring veteran transition program.
FYI, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Let's go.
Programs to focus
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we going there.
Job placement services, job readiness, literacy and skills training, expedite reentry veterans in
Oh yeah, we always keep a good subject. Zach, Lisa, how you doing? What's good? Tell Cosmo I say yeah.
Oh, Lisa there?
Yeah, Lisa.
Big ass Lisa.
Pastor, hey Lisa.
All right. Yeah, so her tell Cosmo big ups.
Big up.
Section 5, all over Delaware.
I am proud to be a part of Delaware Center for Homeless Vets for the work that they do, or the work that we do, put it like that. One of the things is that you had mentioned a couple of times,
right, is
that these white identity extremists are not being punished the way they should be.
Right.
Okay, now, case in point, the young lady that plotted to steal Nancy Pelosi's laptop, Riley June Williams, she's currently enjoying the comfort of her mother's home instead of a jail cell. Now, she was going to sell the Speaker of the House's laptop, which I'm sure has government secrets, to the Russians. Top government secrets.
And she only got a smack on her wrist.
Yep.
That's what
She got bail. She's out on bail.
That's what I mean. Like that has me.
How the hell you put a treasonous traitor and terrorist out on bail? She beyond a terrorist because she's going to sell the Speaker of the House, the third most powerful person in the American corporation,
Right.
going to sell her laptop to America's longtime adversary,
Wow.
the Russians.
And then get a house arrest.
And then, yeah. Oh, did she get house arrest with this thing?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's just how soft the punishment is for a treasonous act as such.
She was in jail 3 days.
Right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they will really shoot and kill black people for that type of thing. And, I mean, as a white person, to not see this racist injustice this can affect you. This is not about just black. This affects you too. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, but you know, look now according to New York Daily News, she is in jail 3 days and was released to her mother's care. Okay, Thursday after participating in one of the most absurd and shocking displays of cowardice in American history, while prosecutors opposed her release, U.S. Magistrate Judge Martin disagreed, ruling that because she had no priors, she would be allowed to return home under imposed travel restrictions. She is scheduled to appear in Washington, D.C. federal court on Monday.
First of all, she should be doing some time at least.
Right.
I mean, in a real prison.
Yeah, of course, her case hadn't come up yet, but when do you let a terrorist out on bail?
When you let a terrorist go, period. You don't. You know what I'm saying?
That's
right. Been error.
Yeah.
And something like that.
And you know who told on her ass? Her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "Oh, I ain't with this."
Going to jail, right?
Yeah. You know, they ain't gonna associate me with this mess. And of course, she also snitched on herself, like dumb young people do. On social media.
Was that when she said, "Oh, it's a revolution, they gas prices"? Yeah. Is that the one?
No, it's another one. That wasn't. You know, she had an onion in her paper towel.
No, making her cry.
Yeah. Ain't nobody pepper spraying that witch. Ain't nobody pepper spraying that hussy. She ain't. Man, I tell you what.
That's the worst can right there.
She need to go to.
Because it's the revolution, guys.
Yep. They need to send her to Hollywood, man, because she was a good actress.
Since she was out there when somebody got killed.
Yep. Yeah, and she need to go too.
That's right.
And she need to go too. That's the damn thing. Now, like I said, the disaster threw his supporters under the damn bus.
Oh, real fast.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he did.
You know, his supporters, the capital terrorists, as they're being called. And look, Mr. President, we beg your pardon. You know, you just gonna you just gonna do me like this? Yup. He got on that helicopter and flew over to Andrews Air Force Base and got on the plane and went to Florida and ain't pardoned one damn one of them capital terrorists. As America recovers from the domestic terrorism committed by the U.S. Capitol earlier this month, some participants have expressed regret.
Right.
I'm sorry, let me start again. It turns out not everyone who took part in the violence in D.C. is still proud of. Oh, wait.
Rewind.
Everybody make mistakes. The important part is we learn from it.
Oh.
Well, no, not really. Not all of us. Okay.
Wow.
Lord. I don't be unprofessional here. Okay.
How many people did he pardon?
You mean the domestic terrorists?
No, I mean Trump. He was pardoning people like that.
Yeah. He ain't pardoned none of them.
Oh, he ain't pardoned none of them?
No, he pardoned. Check this out.
Right.
He pardoned Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. If y'all don't know who, I know some of y'all know who Lil Wayne is. Hip hop artist. Look, that's who he pardoned on some weapon charges. And Kodak Black, I don't know what the hell Kodak Black was in jail for, but Trump let him go. How y'all like that, you white identity extremists? He ain't pardoned none of y'all, but he pardoned 2 brothers. He only like black people. The hell's going on there?
Now that's they was the only 2 blacks he pardoned.
I know it was some more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was some more. I don't know. I know he ain't had no come to Jesus moment and pardon these brothers behind that.
But you gotta understand, he is the president. So I mean, no matter out of all the stuff he did when he was leaving, he can say, "Look what I did for you. I got Little Wayne. I got these couple black people. I like y'all." Because he coming back in society now.
Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah.
So he has to play the role to be able to be accepted back in society by black people, because he can be wherever he at, Jersey, Florida, or wherever. There's black people everywhere, and he can catch it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, I feel you.
So he had to basically
do a little something.
Yeah, he had to get back a little bit.
You know, I can't get over here busting a gut.
A little bit.
You know? And then, I mean, you know, okay, we bagging on you, but look, I mean, he let Little Wayne go,
right?
But his own court members are getting the don't pass go directly to, you know what I'm saying? The 200, don't pass go, don't collect $200. You know, and what you know, this is what y'all get for having World War white peoples.
And my boy just hit me on the tour saying, "Yeah, she had an onion in the towel."
Yeah, the onion in the towel. Now you gonna be using some.
Make a song, pal. It's gonna be a fish.
Onion in the towel. Yeah, buddy.
Remember I told you.
Yeah, yes indeed. Now we had something going on. Oh, what was it? Oh, this is something. Flint, Michigan.
What? With the water situation?
With the water. Yeah. Michigan said, you know what?
What?
We got something for you. We're going to charge the former governor, Rick Snyder, for poisoning black people in the Flint water crisis.
Right. We got to attack one specific person that had the control to, you know, make the decision, and they didn't make the right decision, and it cost lives. They should be responsible. I mean,
but it's not enough, though, because what they're going to charge him with, they charge him with 2 counts of willful neglect of duty and misdemeanor charges that carry as much as a year of jail time and a fine of a measly $1,000.
But on the other hand, if you was a victim of that situation, you can sue and get the whole situation. It's really like a admit the guilt, right? Yeah. So the people that was affected can benefit by going along with their process of their lawsuit or whatever.
Right.
Be compensated for.
And we got a little more compensation, I guess, a little more. Well, Breonna Taylor, the grand jury, they filed a petition to impeach Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron.
They can impeach the
Attorney General? Yeah, the Attorney General? Yeah. And they need to impeach Daniel Cameron because Daniel Cameron, a straight Sambo, handkerchief head, this awful Jew, and 3 of the grand juries in the case filed a petition with the State House of Representatives Friday objecting to the conduct of Attorney General Daniel Cameron and calling for his impeachment. The petition alleges Cameron breached public trust and failed to comply with his duties by misrepresenting the findings of the grand jury in the Taylor case. The grand juries did not choose this battle, stated Kevin Glogower, the attorney for the 3 grand jurors. This battle chose them. These are randomly selected citizens who were compelled to sit on a grand jury and were terribly misused by the most powerful law enforcement official in Kentucky. In Kentucky, a black man. Right. Now, you got a black man that's attorney general and the most powerful law enforcement official in a racist state like Kentucky.
Right.
And then he don't do his duty and bring charges up against Breonna Taylor's killers. That tell you plenty of who this sucker is.
Wow.
And what happens is if he does get impeached and convicted, of his crimes, he will never again be able to hold office in the state of Kentucky. And that works for me.
But you know, they just move and get another opportunity in another state. So
Yeah.
Opportunities like pancakes, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I definitely feel you on that, brother.
Wow.
You know, but he definitely needs to go down. You know, so hopefully that's what happens to them. You know, so brother, once again,
you know the time tick on that.
Time.
Roll.
Man, we be rolling, we be kicking it. I know y'all had a good time because I did.
I did too, son.
Always, yes, indeed. What you call me?
Son.
Okay.
Son.
Okay. That's right. Now,
He was like, yo, you cuss me.
what you call me?
Patrice.
That's right. You know what? Let me get this straight. During the 1960s, we were declaring that black is beautiful, right on. Calling ourselves brothers and sisters,
Right.
wearing afros and cornrows. Now today we bleaching our skins.
Wow.
I'm going to get in some trouble here, y'all.
Oh, Lord.
We bleaching our skins, calling ourselves niggers and bitches, wearing long weaves and sagging our pants off our asses. And you think this regression is normal?
Nah, that's not normal.
No, it's not normal. It's the deliberate result of negative white media social engineering.
True.
This is what we dealing with. You know where we been. The great tragedy of the black man the world over is the height from which he was fallen. Yes, fallen, not pulled down. Now, when the Sears building in Philadelphia was completed some 100 years ago,
right,
it was considered an architectural achievement. Just recently, they demolished it. Well, it was a few years ago. They demolished it, but before its decaying body crashed down.
Right.
The Empire State Building, just over 100 years. No, not quite.
Right.
It's just under 100 years. It's still considered an architectural wonder, but the expense of its upkeep may soon bring its decrepit body crashing down. Right. Now, why am I telling you this? Listen, it is said man fears time,
right,
and time fears only the pyramids. The pyramids have stood for thousands and thousands of years. Man, when a black man of ancient Africa built something to last, the pyramids are such an architectural wonder, modern man with all his technological advances can neither figure out how they were built or how to build anything that will last as long.
I mean, the paint that's in them is thousands of years old. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, that should tell them that they ain't gonna have no paint that lasts on nothing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what.
Nowadays, any of the paint that they use now is usually steel, so it's to do something. You know what I'm saying? And they had it for thousands of years, and it's still on them hieroglyphics. You know?
So advanced was ancient African civilization. They were considering modern man with all his technological advances socially barbaric. Understand that. It's not so much that the black man of ancient Africa built the pyramids,
right, but
that he had the organized unity to do so. That's where we get. Where are we? Let me tell you something. The day that the black man stood with a stranger against his brother was the day that he began his downward spiral into the abyss of oppression.
True.
That's where that started at. That's where that started at. That's where we began.
Right.
We stood with somebody against our own brother.
Yeah.
Now, where are we headed?
That's what my question is.
I'll tell you, brother, the way we're allowing our children to be miseducated, our infant mortality rate, our lack of adequate health care, our high crime rate, our disproportionately high prison population, our casualties in the drug war, our lack of real leadership.
Right.
Damn, at the rate we're going, there won't be any we to be headed anywhere if we don't change this up and start dealing with and finding the solutions to our problems.
Right. Now.
Now.
Right.
Why does the rest of the black world look to us? Because we're in the best position to show the motherland and Africans all over the world what organized unity is and where it can take the black man out of the abyss of oppression into the future, into progressive revolution. And that's where we should be headed. As I always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. I told you that earlier. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority. You treat you as an option. This is the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
On Nsoromma.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Thanks for joining us.
The West Center for
That's all good.
WHGE.
Yo, Kirk was good.
That my little brother Kurt.
Dang, Kirk Gibbs.
Yeah, that's my little brother Kurt.
What's happening? Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
Yo, Cedric, what's good? I see you. Yo, I passed you by. What's up? Hey, yo, listen. Hey, yo, we just be going in. You know what I'm saying? If you got a question, you want to say something, you want to talk about something, just hit it, text us, and we'll read it, and we'll drop it. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying?